Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back finally to the Fifth Dimension. We have a Power Pack show with two very special guests that I go back with so long ago. Guys, it's time to get our predictions out for both Summer's Game Fest and the possibility of the Nintendo Direct. We've got our boys RabbidLuigi and Ndukauba. Yo, welcome to the chat. Like, first off, I need to give introductions to each of these guests here. RabbidLuigi, it's been far too long, my friend. How have you been? How are you?
I've been very good. I've been wanting to touch base for a while, but this is a perfect opportunity for it because it's the right time of year to be speculating about the games that are coming up. There is a lot that has happened. There's a lot that has already happened. I think the next sort of 3 weeks or so is going to tell us a lot about the years, so there's 1 or 2 years to come. A lot of different games that are due to come out and may come out before the end of the year. So I'm excited. I'm very excited because it's all going to happen very quickly.
Oh,
and we've got an hour or two to cover it all. So, we should get on with things, honestly.
Honestly, yo, it's good. We go on, but I'm so glad you're here. Thank you so much for taking the time for being here.
Good to
and,
be here.
Yeah, you're right. The next 2 years is going to be spicy. And then, of course, we can't forget about our boy Ndukauba. How are you doing today, good sir?
What's popping, people? It's your boy. All right, I'm built like a PS5, but I look like a Nintendo Switch. Okay, I am the Kingdom Hearts 4 god. It is I. Hello.
I was agreeing with you up until the Kingdom Hearts 4 god. We'll have to see about that. I'm pretty sure I beat Yozora first. I'm pretty sure I was able to beat Yozora first.
I beat him within the day that the DLC dropped.
You're capping. Mm-mm.
I got Carfax.
No. Oh, Carfax. Yo, let me see the Carfax.
Say less.
Oh my god. But one thing I would like to say about these two individuals here, and I got my drink, so if you got them, pop them. You guys don't understand. RabbidLuigi, Ndukauba, and I, we go super way back. Immense, the dawn of HMK, that we go way back. So it's good to have all three of us here together for the Fifth Dimension. But before I start reminiscing a little too much, enough lollygagging. Summer's Game Fest is next week, and I'm pretty sure, I am 1,000% sure, maybe tomorrow, the next day, the day after that, Nintendo's gonna announce possibly their plans for a Nintendo Direct. And when and if that happens, we have a lot of spicy things to look forward to for the rest of the year going into 2023 when it comes to what Nintendo has in store, especially for Zelda, right? But other than that, we did get some reveals, some confirmations of things that happened already. Case in point, Street Fighter VI gameplay and information, and of course, big leaks, which we're going to talk about. And then we have Resident Evil 4 Remake. We have Final Fantasy 16. Yo, we have a lot to talk about. And then, of course, to put the cherry on top of everything else, Sonic Frontiers identity is slowly but surely being, given to us through a drip feed thanks to IGN. And, man, it's just, we have so much to talk about, and there's so much more to look forward to. The big 2-hour show, the Summer's Game Fest. And then the Xbox show that's happening on Sunday. And so much more. And then hopefully Nintendo Direct. So let's set the mood here, boys, real quick. We're all the three of us were huge Nintendo goobers. We're going to have to talk about the unknown. We're going to have to talk about that Nintendo Direct. First question to get on the docket to see if you guys, the blood's pumping or whatever. I'm going to throw the ball over to RabbidLuigi. When do you think we'll see a Nintendo Direct?
When? I think you're right in saying that we will hear about it. What's Saturday my time? We're going to hear about it Saturday. We're going to hear about the actual announcement, I reckon, Saturday. In terms of actually getting a Direct, I could see it being next Saturday, which would be the 11th, I guess. We're going to get one. That's the worst kept secret in the world, because Nintendo needs something in the middle of the year that says, hey, we make games, we make damn good games, you want to hear about them, here's all of them, here's all the stuff you want to know about. Obviously, there's stuff they're not gonna show and explain. I think this is too early for Zelda. Obviously, it's coming out next year.
Oh, no. I need my Zelda, my dude. No,
you didn't like that.
I'm done playing these games. All right, I'm done playing these games. All right, Final Fantasy 16 is coming out summer. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I gotta rant for like 2 seconds. I'm so done playing these games. Like listen, I'm a patient man. I've been through it all. I was there when Wind Waker. I was there when Twilight Princess. I was there when Skyward Sword. I was there. Like, we were there. We were all there for the Zelda Wii U desert that was Breath of the Wild, all right?
Yeah.
And now, if you guys look at the math, we are actually waiting longer for a Breath of the Wild 2 name than we did for a Zelda Wii U name. That's insane. I'm like, like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, how do we still not have a name at this point in time? Like, I'm sorry.
Well, don't forget, like, they do have a name set already. It's just that if they tell us, it'll spoil it.
Yeah,
that's why they're withholding it.
Bro, just spoil the whole fucking game. I need to see that shit. So, continuing off what RabbidLuigi is saying, like, I do believe we're gonna get some like game announcements, Zelda included. But what other games do you think they're gonna be talking about if they were to have like, let me stop using if. They're gonna have a direct, and if they don't, what the fuck? But what games do you think they'll talk about besides Zelda if you think it's not gonna happen? And we're like, what are you doing?
When's Xenoblade coming out? That's quite soon.
Yeah, July, next month. Next month.
Forward.
Oh no, yeah, holy crap.
Xenoblade, they'll talk about Xenoblade.
Oh yeah, like the final push trailer and whatever. They've been drip feeding us Xenoblade stuff in terms of like gameplay aspects of like how functions work, but I feel like a big cohesive trailer. Remember that trailer they did for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 where they showed off the factions and the world itself? Like I think we need a trailer like that for Xenoblade
like
3.
That.
Yeah, to like
agree.
Round it out.
Outline everything eventually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're 3 games in. If you're not on board yet, you know, you probably should be by this point, but they need something that says, hey, here's what this game's all about. Come join us, because it's coming out pretty damn soon.
You know what's crazy about the whole hype behind Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is that I've seen a lot of people, and I'm so glad people are getting into Xenoblade, you know, to jump on the hype of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitch saying that, oh, I'm going to complete Xenoblade 1 and 2 before 3 comes out. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad you're doing it, but good luck. Like power to you. Because these, guys, if you have not touched Xenoblade 1 or 2, these are big-ass games. Like,
those are some hefty games.
They're
some beefy games.
So I'm glad I'm glad the attempts are being made. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do it before Xenoblade 3 comes out.
I'll be impressed. I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible. But
even then, like,
what?
We got Splatoon 3 is gonna be there as well. That's a September release.
Yep.
So like this is the point of Nintendo having a direct in the middle of the year, because they I forget if we overemphasize how much they had directs before, like the pandemic. And now we're in this post-pandemic world, sort of. They're like, oh, everything's back to normal. We can have 5 directs a year. We haven't really done that yet. So there is an added importance on the thing that everyone knows is going to happen, that we're going to get this direct in probably next week. I mean, that's the problem. If it's like next Saturday, we won't necessarily hear about it tomorrow, because they tend to like start to hype us up the day before.
Right,
like,
that's so weird. And I hate that they do that so much. They do that all the time, and I'm like,
it's
okay,
horrible.
Man. And like, it's weird because the whole idea with this time of the year, because, you know, I've been calling this time of the year E3 time for the longest. And now that E3 is not happening this year, it's so weird that we have to wait this long, that I feel this close to the needle when it comes to Nintendo Direct. Because every time when there's like an E3, Nintendo would announce their Nintendo Direct like a month ahead. Right? It's like, yeah, we're doing an E3 show, like, yeah. So, but now that E3's not a thing, that's like, then, okay, I mean, you don't have to attach yourself to E3 because, you know, Xbox is doing their own thing. You know, PlayStation did their own thing. And then Jeff Keighley is doing his own thing with Summer's Game Fest. So, I mean, like, you didn't have to, like, wait up until almost the show. Like, people have announced their shit, like, a way ahead of time. And I don't know why Nintendo hasn't done that. That makes me really scared. So, like, a lot of people are like, oh, man, don't worry. They always have a Nintendo Direct around June. I'm like, I understand that. But, you know, the whole, you know, comparison contrast with the whole identity of E3 not being there and possibly, you know, dictating if Nintendo's going to announce something or not just has me a little worried. You guys get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
No, I feel you.
Yeah, definitely.
But hopefully we'll get something soon. And that was a really cool, like, you know, Case in point, when it comes to Nintendo Direct, there's a couple of other games I feel that they might tackle, and then of course there's a whole aspect of the unknown. It's a little sad that we don't have any more Smash announcements, because that was like always a big thing to like every Nintendo Direct is coming as like, oh, Smash announcement. Yeah, I miss it too, but it ended in the best way possible, so that's why I'm like, I'm sad, but not really. So let me throw the ball over to Ndukauba really quick. My man, what do you think about like the possibilities of Nintendo? What do you think is gonna go down with possibly a Direct? When is it gonna happen? Let me hear your thoughts.
All right, so I need everybody to listen. Okay, we're gonna get Smash 6. Okay.
No. Ndukauba, I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm literally making a video about this right now. It's probably gonna be like a minute long because I'm gonna get my case in point. Smash Ultimate is Smash 6. All right.
Oh no!
Oh man, that's let me rephrase myself, because in technicality you are absolutely correct, because he does consider 3DS and Wii U two separate games.
And I
Smash 7.
Smash 7.
Okay, Smash 7.
Smeven. Smash Smeven. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, Smeven.
Yes.
When's Smeven? That sounds like a disease. When's Smeven coming out?
There you go.
Like people call Smash Ultimate, they call it Smoosh, and I'm like, stop saying that.
I like Smoosh.
You know, I'm not even gonna get there. Okay, so the thing is, we all know Nintendo Direct is gonna happen, right? There's no way that it's not. It's June. Like June is like the month, right, for all developers and all that stuff to announce their games. Obviously, I expect a Xenoblade 3 trailer, like an actual cohesive one, because you can tell with the way how they've been putting out information that, you know, they're kind of rushing everything out. Yeah. And I get it because they swap places with Splatoon 3, but still, like, if that's the case, form a solid trailer, get that out. But we still got some good information. I mean, heck, we're getting gem crafting back in Xenoblade, which is great because I was not in Xenoblade 2.
I mean, the cores? Maybe, but I mean, like, you didn't have to do anything to like craft the cores. You have to bring the materials. But I missed the whole like, okay, this much air, this much heat, this much like I missed that from Xenoblade 1.
It feels like I'm actually like earning, like, you know, like the gems that I'm getting and all that stuff. Whereas with Xeno, you know, it's a gotcha system. Cosmos, who I still don't have.
Me neither. I'm trying to get her before. That's what I'm trying to do before 3 comes out. I'm gonna try to get Cosmos before 3 comes out.
Like, if anybody knows of an efficient way to grind like those things, let me know. Because literally, I have Telos, I just can't get Cosmos worth my life. But yeah, so we got that going on. Of course, expect like some sort of Splatoon gameplay, maybe an update on Bayonetta 3. But I think what's gonna be
just thinking about Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
It's like we haven't heard about. Well, we heard about it before, but like now's a good
February.
time. There's a lack of stuff. Like now's a good time to drop something because there's not a ton coming out. Like Mario Strikers is something that's just popped into my head.
We're getting that first kick. What, tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow. And the game comes out in a week.
Coming out.
The game comes out in a week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I'm excited. Soccer.
The thing is, why this Direct is so important is because apart from it being June and all that stuff, we really don't know much about games that are coming out next year.
Yeah.
And next year is going to be fierce competition because we have what's it called? My brain died. We have Final Fantasy. We have God of War. We have my brain died. I can't.
Resident Evil 4 remake.
Spider-Man. Yeah, like we have.
Oh shit! Spider-Man is coming out next year. Oh wow! I forgot about that.
So, and potentially, like, if it doesn't come out this year, Breath of the Wild 2, which it just gets pushed back every year. But like, there's so much competition next year for games that Nintendo has to come out swinging. I mean, they came out swinging fairly hard this year, right? But you can't just leave next year to be just like up in the air like that without informing us of, hey, like, you know, even if there's not like an actual trailer, for example, hey guys, you know, Metroid Prime 4, for example, it's coming out next year.
That game's never coming out.
Slight teaser. That game's never coming out. But you know what I'm saying? So, this Direct is too important.
Mm-hmm. Now, I definitely feel that, and I get both of your points, especially with like certain games like, okay, Bayonetta 3, Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3, among others, because 2023 is gonna be nasty. And that's why I really think like it's E3 time. Like every time I would say Nintendo wants to show something off with like Breath of the Wild, it's always like E3 time. And I'm like, but why? You don't have to single it to that. Like up until they finally revealed the name back in the day, remember Breath of the Wild E3 2016, then they started like, you know, giving more information towards release, which was like, you know, March, which, you know, spring, a lot of people like March is not really, I mean, March isn't spring, but like the end of March. But spring 2023. We're in the position now for Nintendo to finally reveal the name of Breath of the Wild 2, some gameplay, some identity, and then, constantly get that flow out. And then a lot of people are talking about a possibility, since we're not going to have a Zelda release this year. No, since we apparently weren't going to get a Zelda release this year, they can easily announce at this E3, or not E3, but this Direct, they can easily announce Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD as our Zelda release for this year, right? Because that's going to be really odd if 2022 is going to be without a Zelda release. And then, considering, whoa, I didn't mean to do that. All right, you guys.
And that's the end of the fifth dimension.
No, it's not. Oh, no, you got, all right. So, like I was saying, as I try to get this back up, I have to try and get this back up. I'm throwing the ball to Rabbid. So, Rabbid, what you mean? What you mean, no Zelda?
I'll pick your ball up. What we doing?
Yeah, there. The ball's yours. What are we talking about?
You were talking about Zelda. You were talking about this is a slight tangent, but it's not much.
Go for it.
It is directly related to what you're talking about, but it's just something I wondered in my head as you were talking. I don't know the exact date, but this June is going to mark 3 years since we had the first trailer for Breath of the Wild 2, which is mind-blowing to me, because we've had 2 trailers in that time, and we know very little about the game. Now, I know that it's a way off. It's jam-packed full of stuff, and they don't want to reveal too much. They haven't given us a title. Of course they don't reveal too much. So it tempers my expectation with that. But it is a bit insane to me that for a game that seemed to be building on Breath of the Wild 1, we all said it. We said, wow, this game's so amazing. The engine's so good. Just do a Majora's Mask. Make the same game, but different in some way. Change things, but don't make a new engine. That takes 5-6 years.
Right.
We've seen it with Skyward Sword to Breath of the Wild. They had to reinvent the wheel. They had to make a crafting mechanic. Well, they had crafting. They had to have a survival mechanic on top of Zelda. Don't do that. We like Breath of the Wild. Just make another one, but a little bit darker and a bit different and kind of funky in a way. But I don't really know. I'm not a game developer. I don't really know what has taken so long, for lack of a better word. I don't want to say they should be making it faster, but it's kind of encouraging to me in a little way that it has taken so long.
Right.
I don't know what that game is. I don't think anybody really knows what that game is, but I'm very excited to see, I guess, why it's taken so long. I know there's a pandemic. You can have that reason for many things, but it should have taken 3-4 years. It's taken 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
5 years. 5 years.
About going on 6 years. So it'll be 6 years in 2023, which is such a weird thing to that's I really like how you brought this up, and I want to talk about this tangent a little bit. It's so weird how it's taken this long, considering the identity is pretty much the same for Breath of the Wild. We can only assume that the world is going to be wild, and that when Aonuma said in the last time we saw Breath of the Wild 2, when it got delayed, was that we're going to go beyond that of the land and the sky, and beyond that, even beyond that. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Because a lot of people are assuming that we might also see the caverns, we're going to see the sky, but are we going to go beyond the borders of Hyrule itself? And then what kind of gameplay aspects is holding this game back? And I thought that you guys really had, the physics engine down to a T. Now, of course, people exploited the shit out of it when Breath of the Wild first came out, but I mean, they patched it throughout the game's lifetime, right? So you would think okay, it's not like they have to refigure out what this engine can do. I just feel like they're gonna introduce so many new gameplay aspects that the game, I don't want to say couldn't handle it, but the new gameplay aspects they're introducing to the game introduce more exploits that they were able to catch more and more, and they're all right, this is gonna need a little bit more development. But it's mind-boggling because what could be, I agree with you, what could be it that was keeping this game from releasing a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, So I want to know that answer. So talking about this aspect, Ndukauba, I want to hear what you have to say.
Breath of the Wild 2, right? This is the game that I've been waiting so long for, right? Note that my entrance when it came down to Zelda was Breath of the Wild, right? Literally took the internet by storm, and that's an understatement.
It did.
Right? and I spent countless hours just playing that game, handheld mode, TV mode, like on the go, all that stuff. So that game in particular holds like a very, very like near and dear spot in my heart. So with them taking so long to like work on this game or to even give us any bit of information on this game, I feel it's kind of wild. Like RabbidLuigi said,
Breath of the
like
Wild?
there is a pandemic. Huh?
You said it's kind of wild, like Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
Hey.
all right, guys. Again, that's the end of the fifth dimension.
Oh,
We'll talk to y'all later.
No, I have to do it every time. Every time.
No, you're good. But yeah, it's just it's strange to me, right? Like, and it's not even like a scenario where it's like Metroid Prime 4, like, okay, we didn't like the direction it was going, we're gonna scrap it, restart, right? From what we know anyway, it's been smooth for Breath of the Wild 2. It's just they haven't told us really anything. We got like what, maybe 2 trailers, like the initial announcement trailer, and then like that one like midway trailer we got like what, like a year or 2 ago. And at this point, it's just like, okay, cool. Can we start getting like solid bits of information about this game? You don't even have to tell us the title if you really don't want to. Just give us something to satiate our hunger or our thirst for this game, like while you guys are working on it, because I'm pretty sure everybody wants them to take their time, make it the best game that they can make it. But when you keep everyone in a complete drought for years, that's when people start to get restless. And I think a lot of people are in that spot right now.
Right. And
You know what I'd love to see? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
You know what I'd absolutely love to see? And this may just be me. We don't need to see it. I'd love to see it. It's just more. This is more important to me than a title or, really anything. But I want a moment in a trailer in the future where you think, "Oh, that's why it took so long."
Yeah.
I want that light bulb moment where you think, "Oh, that's why I wasn't out last year or the year before."
Yeah,
That's
that would
why.
be nice. That I would love a moment like that. That would. What do you guys think in the chat? I'm like, damn, that's a really good perspective. Now that you bring that up, I'm like, you just see something and like, oh wow, okay,
That's why it took 6 years to make.
man.
And you know what made me feel like that?
What?
Pokemon Gen 9 made me feel like that. Like we got we knew it was happening, but it was like, oh, okay. Now I understand why Arceus and the remakes came out. This is nice.
All right, so I
need somewhere.
Yeah, veering off that point, let's talk a little bit about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, first of all, to get to set the mood a little bit. So I'm Team Scarlet. What are you guys?
Yes. And the thing is, I mean that quite literally, because think about it, right?
I know you do. Like
no, okay. Because look, okay, for real though, okay, so first and foremost, the legendaries are fire, in my opinion, right? Oh, was it Koraidon and Miraidon? Again,
but Miraidon looks like a dick.
Bro, look, we not finna talk about that.
What you mean? Bro? I could not take my eyes off that when I saw in the trailer the first time. Chat, I'm not wrong. I saw that shit. I saw the silhouette of Miraidon from the behind, and I'm like, how did this Pokemon get past QA? How,
no, bro?
How?
Like, you're the only dude, because I saw your tweet, and I'm just like, bro. And then I looked at it again. I was like,
yeah, see, I'm not crazy. Don't bra me. Don't bra, dude. I'm not crazy.
But he still looks clean. He still looks clean. All right, so here's the thing. He got digital eyes. He got like that little like electricity coming out of it too. It's fire. I don't see the issue. What? See, that's the reason why I can't decide, right? Because out of Koraidon and Miraidon, I do like Miraidon the most, but it's like a little bit, right? Because Koraidon is clean too. So it's like I want to go Violet because of Miraidon, but I want to go Scarlet. Because of the waifu.
I know.
Because of our new queen.
Yes, Professor Pasta.
Yes. Professor Sada.
Sada, there goes Sada.
Beat me up. Yeah. Is that so bad? I just wanted to beat me up.
Exactly.
Hands
like
in the air
a
on
clean
this one.
uppercut. Like that's
listen. I like a good beating, but I mean, like, all right, Professor Sada. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be Scarlet, so I'm gonna have her as my professor, which is great. But I'd rather get my ass beat like by someone like Chun-Li. I don't know, I know Street Fighter 6 though.
Yo, wait, we'll get to that soon.
That's a tasty segue, but a little early. Hold fire before we come to it.
Before we like segue off too, have you guys seen like the memes that people have been making of what is it, Sada and Turo? Because like obviously, past and future, right? So like Turo, they have him like, all sophisticated, like, yes, you should be doing this with that. And then they have like Sada acting like complete like wild and carnal and just like I saw one where she's biting a freaking basculin like from the water. I'm just like, what is going on?
People are mean. They're like, she's appreciative of the past. It doesn't mean that she's like carnal. Like she's like, you guys thinking that she's regressive? Man, stop disrespecting my professor like that. All right, RabbidLuigi, what about you? Like Scarlet or Violet?
The Scarlet. I mean, there's a bunch of different angles to go from. The main, it really comes down to with the different Pokemon games. It's entirely the legendary Pokemon because the actual, boots to the ground differences these days are so negligible that like I don't really know why there's two at the moment, other than the fact that Nintendo know that people who really like these games will buy both. They know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
But also, I don't even know their names. You know what? Off the top of my head, I don't know the legendaries' names, but I like the red one. Okay?
Yeah, Koraidon, yeah.
That's the one. Like, penises aside. Like, I saw the tweet. Like, there are a ton of Pokemon that if you find the silhouette...
Oh, yeah, if you put the silhouette up and take something, like, if you take Boba Fett's arms away, he looks like a dick, too. I'm like, okay, I get it.
Combustion has been a dick move, like, for ages. So, look, that's always been a case. People create the art they want to see in the world. So, that doesn't matter to me. I like the idea that, I'll be honest, this is a different angle. A completely angle that I've just thought of right now. I'm kind of burnt out on futuristic Pokemon after Sun and Moon. Is that a weird thing?
Fair.
No, that's fair.
Like,
that's completely fair.
That's fair.
I didn't say burnt out.
Like the Ether Foundation, I'm like,
Sun and Moon. Yeah, I didn't hate that gen. That gen's okay, but like, I want to see like that primal side, that like prehistoric aspect. It kind of got touched on with Legends Arceus, where there's history to Pokemon, that things haven't always been the same. And there's like 1,000 years ago, fuck it, millions of years ago. I want to see what like Pokemon, prehistoric Pokemon. I don't know if that's what they're going to be doing, even slightly, but I like the idea that there is an aspect to Pokemon that is very new, very, very new and exciting, and that is what the gen should be building on. Arguably, Violet will do that as well. I don't know. Again, I don't know how they're different, how the legendaries play a factor into the story, which may make the entire game different. We have no idea, but I like the idea that there's a past that Pokemon may explore. I don't know. That's appealing to me.
I think that they can probably do something because like with I won't say every single Pokemon game, but like a good amount of the Pokemon games, like you have like, for example, the fossil mons, right? Like Aerodactyl, Kabuto, all of them, right? And then even some pseudo legendaries kind of looked like they were like prehistoric. Yeah. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, darn it, what was the Gen 6? The two fossil mons, darn it. Was it like Aurorus and
yeah, I know what you mean.
The other one, the T-Rex Pokemon, but
the T-Rex Pokemon.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
Tyrantrum. That's right.
Yeah,
Tyrantrum.
Good job. So yeah, like stuff like that. They can probably like maybe delve deeper, like especially if you go like the Scarlet route, or maybe with the Violet route, they can probably talk about Pokemon that are more futuristic, or like even man-made Pokemon, right? Like for example, like Mewtwo, Porygon, et cetera, and like have like that type of thing going on with that game, which would be extremely interesting. But quickly like tangenting it, I can't speak. Going off that topic, I'm sorry, like I'm still like waking up.
You're good.
But, I think one of the biggest things about Scarlet and Violet is, again, they took what worked with Legends Arceus and are building a straight up like next generation off of that game. And as a consumer of content, right? Like obviously content creator, but also consumer of content. The one thing that I've been saying the most to some of my homies in the Pokemon community is this is going to be really big for a lot of them because if anybody doesn't know, the game has co-op, right? And not like, like online multiplayer or anything. No. Like actual co-op, as in your homies are there with you.
Yep.
Right? Up to 4 players. And if that's the case, that completely opens the floodgates for like different types of like videos and content that we get to consume from, Pokemon content creators, right? Like I was talking to one of my homies, I was like, yo, just imagine it. You, me, 2 of our homies, like you're just like, hey, pull up. And we all pull up, we do our thing. And then all of a sudden, you know what? Let's run it. All right, cool. And we run it on the spot. That would be fire. So, and then like, there's like, they can do races or whatever lock that they want to do or whatever the case may be. It is, the floodgates are open. And that on a consumer / content creator side is what I'm really excited to see. But as a straight up just gamer, the fact that it's finally open world Pokemon. I've waited far too long for this. Open world Pokemon. There's no direct path that you have to go. You play the game however you want. That is what I'm talking about. That is going to be the future. And from what it looks like, they're doing it right. I'm all for it.
Like, I'm so down for the open world aspect of like Pokemon finally being a thing, because I was a huge fan of how they tackled Legends Arceus. But the thing is that I really want to see how they're gonna balance the game, because I've seen a lot of people like, okay, Nintendo claims that you go to open world, you can have your homies or whatever, and probably the homie thing is gonna, like, you know, play into what I'm about to bring up, is that, okay, you can go anywhere you want, not bound by the story, not bound by progression or whatever. Like, okay, you got your level 7 Lechonk, and then you go into this area, like, all right, I'm gonna go into this no-no zone that I'm not supposed to be there, and you end up fighting like a level 70 Tyranitar, right? So, is that truly freedom? And I want to see how they're gonna, like, you know, control and adapt that. Like, that's like the one thing I'm really interested about, like, learning more about.
I appreciate your concerns.
Yeah.
I would prefer if they didn't, because back to Breath of the Wild, everything leads back to Breath of the Wild. One of my favorite things about that game is finding a Lionel when you're just starting the game and thinking, oh, I could take that, and then you're curb stomped into the ground, and you think, oh,
yeah, you run through all your items, you run through everything. Okay, got it. You know.
But the thing is, people still beat that game in half an hour. I don't know, half an hour might be generous. I don't know what
it's like an hour. It's like an hour, shy of an hour, an hour plus, something like that.
There you go. So if people beat that game in an hour because they are capable of getting to the end of the game somehow and beating like 4 bosses, spoilers, 4 bosses and the final boss, and then another final boss with basic gear that they were to, you know, just slide their way
I don't
through.
know how they're able to get past all the blights like at once. I'm like, that's insane.
Crazy. I could never do that. I could never do that.
No, me neither.
Major props to them. But I love the idea of that being somehow translated into Pokemon. The idea that, oh, by the way, you know, welcome to Route 1. On your right is the Pokemon lead. If you go there, you will die. But I love the idea of people somehow, maybe not even that long, the internet's crazy, like a week from the game coming out, being able to beat, you know, the Elite Four and the champion in 12 minutes.
Right? Like, yeah, they pull out some like stupid ass fucking Cerebi like strat. It's like, yeah, man, you know, what was the thing like the spikes where you throw them out? Like, you had to do double spikes and then swap out baton pass, all that shit, and then just all like
that stuff.
Yeah, just wipe the Elite Four. Like, it's all good.
Yeah, but I just love the idea of having that possibility. Yeah, the average player will die several times. It may seem unfair, but there will be people out there who will find a way to make it work, and that's what these games are about. If you have the open world, you got to let it be open and properly. At times, too open, but it's better than the alternative, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right.
Oh. Actually, going off that too, because there's 2 things that popped in my head. One, that's also if Gen 9 even has an Elite Four, because Gen 8 didn't have an Elite Four.
Right.
And 2, I think a way that they can balance it out too is, since it's open, I'm assuming you can probably go to any gym that you want first. So, and I think one of my friends brought this to my attention. So since it's open and you're more than likely able to target any gym that you want in any type of order, they can scale the gym leaders depending on
the order you take.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, let's start with like just going off of basic gyms I know. Like, for example, like, you know, Gen 1 gyms, you know, Brock, Misty, Lieutenant Surge, etc. Right? Let's say that instead of, you know, you went to Brock first as usual, you go to Lieutenant Surge first. Lieutenant Surge Pokemon will be like, you know, around the first gym's level, right?
Right.
And after that, you decide, you know what, I'm gonna go fight Blaine next. You go over the Blaine. His Pokemon will be around the second tier of or second level of where they will be at. And even at that, they could also incorporate that if you go in a different sporadic order, even the Pokemon might shift.
Right.
So,
I was about to bring that up. It's like, oh, the Pokemon have to shift, and the move listing has to shift according to what the level of the Pokemon is. And then that's gonna be really interesting, because if that is the case, then people online are like, okay, here's best route, like best easiest route to the Elite Four. If you if you go against this guy first, and then this girl second, and this, like, they'll have this, they'll have that, and then they'll exploit. Damn, that sounds like they're gonna exploit the shit out of that. Oh, I'm ready for something like that. That sounds funny.
But there's so much room for freedom in this game, and it's something that Pokemon fans have been asking for so long. Again, like we saw it with Pokemon Legends Arceus, it did very, very well. Like, people love that game because of how
I
it is.
was
And
so
now that we have a
addicted to
full
that
dedicated
game, and then Elden Ring came out, and I'm like, sorry.
Well, I don't know about you. I finished that game. I mean, that game's been out for many months. I'm
I
talking
know.
about spoilers.
I need to go back and finish it because Elden Ring just like ate like when I'm booting up a game, I'm like, what am I gonna play? Legends Arceus or Elden Ring? I'm like, I'm gonna play Elden Ring. Like,
So you never.
I never
You
finished
never
it.
fought Arceus.
No, I never fought. People are gonna crucify me. I never beat Legends Arceus. Not because it was a bad
Do you
game
know
where I
what
got
happens at the
burnt
end of
out
the
in it.
game?
Huh? What?
Do you know what happens at the end of the game?
No.
Oh, don't spoil it. Oh
Yeah.
my god, don't spoil it. It's so good. Oh my god, it's so good.
So-
let me spoil it.
No,
please.
please don't. Like,
End of the stream, go play it right now. I will check in a week if you've done it. Okay.
all right, fine. No, all right. I'll beat it within a week. I'm going towards the end. I want to assume it's not because I got burnt out of it. It's just like, yo, Elden Ring though. Like,
Elden Ring is good though.
like
I'll give you that.
Elden Ring though.
It's a good excuse.
Man. So going off the open world tangent a little bit, I think we were like had a good amount of time on Pokemon, but we're talking about like the whole open world aspect. We talked about I brought up Elden Ring or whatever. Let's talk about the next open world game on the docket that a lot of people are talking about online, and that is Sonic Frontiers. I've got a lot to say about it, but we don't have enough time because I want to talk about other things as well. So let's take like a good 5 minutes, maybe longer, maybe a little bit less, talk about Sonic Frontiers. I've made my feelings about the game very known, especially when the combat trailer came out today. But let's throw the ball over to RabbidLuigi first for this one. How are you feeling on Sonic Frontiers based on what we've seen so far?
I'm just sad.
Oh,
I'm just tired. Sad implies that I'm invested. I'm just tired. We keep doing this. We keep going around and we get excited and we're like, oh yeah, Sonic's got a new start. It's not a new start.
Okay. To be fair, I was never excited for Forces.
No,
Does that make you feel better?
Some people have been excited.
I know. No. Yo, Rabbid.
I don't know how they do it.
Remember back in the day in 2017? Oh my god, when people were like, "Yeah, man, Sonic Forces." I'm sorry, it's gonna be better than Odyssey. I'm like, are you serious?
People
like,
really
yeah, people thought that, and then the game came out.
There's some dog water.
Okay, so like as you were saying, Rabbid, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just can't keep doing this cycle with Sonic because like. I don't know where the optimism comes from, but the fact that we've had these two trailers, I think it's two trailers at the moment, and we've had an overview trailer and we've had a combat trailer.
Yep.
It's just not doing anything for me. It may turn out, and I'll give it that it's got 4 months to cook, maybe 4 months or so to cook. It may
if it doesn't get delayed.
Wonderful. It may get delayed. That is entirely possible. But as it is now, it's got like the second half of the year to become more of a video game that I would be happy buying. Currently, it just looks a bit amateurish, is maybe the best word to describe, because it's not bad. It doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel like Sonic should be. Because so many franchises that have been going since the 90s are now really fucking good. And Sonic's like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm just going to fucking make a game every 5 years and not really put the effort in. Like, come on. There's so much you can do with Sonic. You're doing this open world thing, and you're like, fuck it. I don't know. It's like, come on. Have some enthusiasm about yourself. Like, show the world what you can do. It's like, nah, I'm good. Fuck it. What? It's like, so I need more from Sonic. I need more from Sonic Frontiers. I need more from Sega about Sonic. And that's all I have to say. So just end me.
You know, I get it. I definitely get it. Now, like, I was really optimistic. Like, it's no secret that I'm really critical about Sonic, and that's only because I want him to do well, right? I love Sonic.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And I was not hyped at the very least for Forces. People who got hyped over Forces, like, look at you now. And I'm just saying, like, from what I saw before the combat trailer, I was cautiously optimistic. I was like, okay, I like the direction they're taking him in, and I feel that it has a grand, like, I feel like Sonic Frontiers has a grand amount of potential, right? Are they going to capitalize on the potential? Are they going to stick the landing? I'm not entirely sure after seeing the combat trailer, right? I really want this game to do well. I really want this game to be well. I really want this game to be like the next big thing. And I feel like it can be, but like they really have to stick the landing. But like that's my thoughts in a nutshell. And we were able to get Rabbid's thoughts. All right, so Ndukauba, the ball's over at you. How are you feeling about? Oh man.
Okay. Now I've held my tongue on this on like social media and all that stuff. You know, Sega.
Oh, spicy, yo! An HMK fifth dimensional first look into the mind of Ndukauba and how he feels about Sonic Frontiers. Let's fucking go!
It is the exclusive is here. Okay, so again, I've been a Sonic fan since I was a kid. I think like darn near 4 years old. I remember the first Sonic game I played. I remember where I played it, all that stuff, right? So I don't want anybody to think that I do not like Sonic. I love that franchise. Sonic Frontiers currently is a great idea executed poorly. Ooh. And the reason why I say that is because the idea is very clearly based off of the Breath of the Wild formula, which we've already seen with too many games now that formula does work, right? Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Pokemon Legends Arceus, etc. The formula works, right? But the issue with this game are as follows. There's no cohesion. It like Sonic does not actually feel as if he's naturally a part of that world at all. Not only that, somebody brought up on Twitter, I think I saw today, that in the trailers for, you know, Sonic Frontiers, you know, modern Sonic has longer quills, right? That's just him. He grew up, right? In the game, he has smaller quills, right? I mean, I know that's a very small thing, but even
really
at that,
the quill thing.
No, hey, to be fair, I could make that comparison with Kingdom Hearts 2.8 as well. Remember what they did with the intro scene with Aqua?
Yeah, but that was
cohesion.
No, but that's an intro scene, and that's like, okay, like Sonic, his identity keeps shifting, and I feel like if we're gonna go from like classic Sonic to modern Sonic and like the length of the quills, I'm like, okay, like see with that 0.2 and the 2.8 thing, no one was complaining about the length of Aqua's hair. People were complaining about like, all right, Venus's eyes should not be blue. Like that's wrong. All right, but
you forgot, right? They were complaining about the size of her chin, which is why in the updated version they shortened it. Yeah, remember?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I didn't care. I didn't care. That's what you're talking about, bro. I didn't give a fuck about Aqua's chin, bro. Wow. Nah.
No, okay. Throwing all that to the side though, because that's all like honestly superficial. Like it's whatever, right? But the most important thing, like for real though, is the world itself is extremely barren. Yeah. Like we don't see many enemies there, or at least from the first 7 minutes of gameplay that we got a few days ago, darn near no enemies, right? Not only that, the stage design is all over the place. There is no reason for rails just to be there, just floating. Like no, like it's not incorporated with the world at all. Like it's not part of any landscape or whatever the case may be. And not only that, there's no momentum in that game at all. Like they showed like during the 7 minutes of gameplay a few days ago, when he was in like that kind of arena-esque area or whatever, and he was running down, no speed gained whatsoever, right? But they showed a comparison with Sonic Adventure 2, where he was trying to go up a rail, but because gravity exists, he started moving downward, right? Which is important. That's important. So it's things of that nature. And plus the combat that we got today, I mean the potential is there, they're just not maximizing it. And plus you can also tell animations are super stiff, incomplete. And what's worse about all of this is this game comes out like maximum last day of the year, right? So that gives us about another 6 months of development. That game is absolutely done. There's no way in the world that game is still in like actual major development, apart from maybe like give or take maybe about a month or two, right?
I disagree. I think the game is still in development. Like you know, maybe 3 months off, but I mean, of course, you know, there's whole QA polishing and all that stuff. But
that's what I was gonna, like I say probably like if they're still working on it, probably about another solid month or two, and then probably like another few months polishing. And then after that, the game has to go gold, and then they have to start shipping that out. So
Sonic games have never had glitches. What are you talking about? They don't need quality assurance.
Man, look, QA exactly. QA never exists. These are big facts.
So
no, but
yeah. My
it's a mess.
Now my take with Sonic Frontiers is I agree with you for the most part when it comes to like it's a great idea. The execution could use some work, but I do get your complaints when it comes to the cohesion of the world itself. Like other aspects of like I would say the aesthetic of the world, I actually like the contrast of what Sonic is, in the world itself. A lot of people's been complaining about the whole pseudo-realism about the island, and a lot of people are like, they're thinking that's going to be all there is to see in Sonic Frontiers. I'm like, no, remember, they call this an open zone adventure. This is probably just the first zone. We're probably going to get like a lava zone, a tundra zone, sand zone, whatever the fuck, right? But I feel it's a good contrast between that of, Sonic himself as a design character and the world he's in, because one, he's lost in a new world, which is obviously some like extra dimensional shit from what we saw in the first trailer, and it could deal with aspects of the Phantom Ruby because that's what's really hot right now. And in the combat trailer, we saw that we have the ability to zoom out like drastically, and I feel like that's a main point to why they chose that art style in terms of the world against Sonic's own art style. Is like because Sonic needs to stand out, right? He needs to stand out massively if you're able to zoom out that much. Momentum, I definitely agree, but I'm always an advocate for like the next step in evolution for Sonic that a lot of Sonic fans refuse to allow him to do. Is that I'm a big believer in that the way Sonic could break from the molds of his own trappings is that we need speed with control, not speed for the fuck of it, right? Because a lot of people like if you make Sonic go too fast, then you lose control. Then you're not playing a game anymore. You're watching a video. So I'm down with the momentum. But I'm also down with like I don't want to take away too much control, which is like a good case in point to talk about Sonic Adventure, because Sonic Adventure like was able to do that pretty well, but not to the point of 8-way running, because now we're gonna have like a lot more 8-way running with Sonic Frontiers, which I feel is good if executed well. And with the whole idea of the identity of the game, like the pacing, what you're supposed to do. All that is yet to be seen, and I want to be hopeful that this build that we're seeing being played off of IGN is an early build in which they're hiding a lot of what this game can offer, especially when you made that point with the rails, where do they go? I'm like, I want to assume that they have to go somewhere, but we're not seeing it right now, But like I said, I'm really hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic for this game, a lot more so than I have been for any other Sonic game like in the past. Like I got so burnt out of boost formula after Colors did it the best. Generations wasn't bad by no means, but Colors did boost the best, right? So after that, I'm like I'm not feeling boost anymore. Like let's move on, please. And we're finally moving on. And then people are like, no man, go back. And I'm like, nah. So
no, please no.
Yeah, I'm done with boost. I'm done with boost. Go ahead.
Wait, before we get off, I just want to say this too. I think that the reason why people are way more critical about this game than they were for Forces, or even honestly any Sonic game in the
it's weird. It's so weird, right?
No, but I think there's actually a justifiable reason. It's because throughout the past few years, let's be honest, 3D Sonic games anyway have not had the best track record.
Oh no, right? That's very, very, very true.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people are seeing Sonic Frontiers as like this is the last straw, like the final straw. If you guys don't get it right this time, then like we're done. And honestly speaking, I'm not on that boat, but I also understand it because like a lot, like 2D fans, we had Sonic Mania, we were feasting, we're getting Sonic Origins, we're good, right? But 3D fans have been wanting a good 3D Sonic game for far too long, and a lot of them are tired of waiting, of them saying, hey, look, like this formula is not working, try this. And like, and seeing that they're not putting forth as much effort into it as much as the 2D games, right? And again, even at that, Sonic Mania was made by Christian Whitehead. So in technicality, it was a fan game.
Yeah.
That was official. So yeah, like I just want to see Sonic succeed. That's all it is. I want to see him thrive, just like, the Blue Blur that I know from the past. Like, I just want him to have a strong and stable, just overall good 3D game. That's it at the end of the day. And right now, they're really not showing that. I strongly advise them to delay it.
Yeah. All you guys need to do, Sonic Adventure 3. Like, that's all you have to do.
That is the in case of emergency, smash the glass and make that game.
Yeah, smash that glass 5 years ago.
Not even that. The ultimate in case of emergency game, and I need y'all to listen to me. Chao Garden.
Oh yeah. Oh damn. Chao Garden for phones. Chao Garden for phones. Yep. man, that makes so much money. All right, so moving on from the point of Sonic Frontiers, there's one more specific game that I do want to talk about a little bit before we get into the rapid fire predictions list for Summer's Game Fest, right? Which we haven't done, and we're like 10 minutes out. So last game that we're going to talk about specifically, Street Fighter 6. Now,
Damn.
Yo, Street Fighter 6, I'm excited because we saw that first reveal that didn't have any gameplay, and the logo, which like sucked complete ass, right? That shit was cool, right?
I forgot about that logo. Oh.
Yeah, that shit was
changed it
bad. Yo, a lot of people still don't like the new logo. I'm like, it's an improvement, and I like it, right? But now we finally got gameplay of Street Fighter 6, and we got confirmed characters: Ryu, Chun-Li, oh yeah, Jamie and Luke. We already knew Luke and Ryu was going to be in, and Luke is going to be a really important character because they said that from Street Fighter 5. Luke got introduced as the final DLC character, and that he was going to be really important to the future of Street Fighter, which he is. It's turning out to be or whatever. And Chun-Li is super caked up, and we got some leaks after the reveal, which is so funny. Whoever was in charge of the leaks, who leaked that game, was really nice, saying that, like, you know what, I'm gonna leak the game after it got its gameplay reveal. I'm like, that's really nice of you. But I'm saying the game, and from what it's meant to offer, looks really good, because a lot of people weren't really feeling Street Fighter 5, and I understand that. Street Fighter 4, goated. Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6, all right, we looking at slit. Boys, what do we got to say about that? I'm gonna throw it over to Ndukauba first.
Hello, everyone. Oh man, like I was already hyped when they announced like Street Fighter 6 a while ago, right? But just seeing the gameplay, I think the game looks beautiful first and foremost.
Oh yeah, it looks amazing.
Like I hope like nobody's complaining about how like the game like visually looks, because it's freaking beautiful, right? But not only that, I mean, seeing like, you know, was it Ryu and even Luke fight, and then what else? We had the new character, was it Jamie? I believe
Jamie, yeah.
Or was it, yeah, Jamie, and then also Chun-Li, yes. Just seeing all of them like in actual like in-game engine and fighting and whatnot is awesome. Plus, we got to see, I'm assuming that's the story mode, with you actually having apparently your own character.
Yeah,
and you're
an avatar.
Through. Yeah, that is so freaking dope to me. That's so dope. And not only that, like, do you mind if I just go straight into the leak? Or
yeah, no, go for it. Yeah,
go
go for the leaks. Yeah.
These leaks, people. I feel for Ken, because that's my main. I'm crying. Okay.
Yeah, man, it has been the same since the divorce.
Exactly. Let me give y'all the backstory if y'all know, all right? So with Ken, that's the goal, right? Apparently, Ken wanted to pursue the same dream as Ryu. Understandable. You know, they train together, right? His wife got tired and left and took the kid. Okay.
Took the kid.
Now people are saying this dude is washed up. And apparently, like, the fighting quotes against Ken is them roasting him. Come on, bro. Ken does not deserve this.
Nah, Ken's kind of a piece of shit. Fuck that dude.
Sad,
That's
man.
the goal. That's that boy.
It's sad. I'm with you on that. It's sad.
Right. But,
Not,
you know,
not okay.
Ken aside, though, like, looking at, like, the leaks of the characters that are in the game, that it's a strong starting roster, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There
21
are some
characters
that don't return. Yeah, spoiler. But there are some characters that aren't returning from Street Fighter 5, right? Like, I don't see Laura in there. I don't know why. That's the goal, right? But what we got? Let's see. I see Blanca. I see freaking Akuma.
Yo, Akuma looks
my God.
snapping, bro.
Smoking away.
Right, and of course the GOAT jury. Like we looking crispy. Okay, like I need to see more gameplay, of course. But this game looks great, and also I will never understand why people are getting pissed off about Cammy's new outfit. She looks amazing, and even at that, it's already been leaked with gameplay on there online. You guys can all see it on YouTube. That her OG outfit is also in the game. But her new outfit is fire.
Man,
Like,
I'm just mad. Where the fuck is my boy El Fuerte? Like, I'm tired of this. Like, the fuck? He didn't come back in Street Fighter 5? Nah. He better be the first fucking DLC character.
Where's Crimson Viper? She didn't come back.
I mean, fuck C Viper, bro. I never liked her.
That's the goal.
Man. All right, so what about you, Rabbit? How are you feeling about Street Fighter 6?
You know, I wasn't too sure how to feel, but you know, seeing Akuma look like that in the leaks, it kind of floored me. I'm like, you know, you need that. I think you need that kind of drawing a line under it with a new game like this, with Street Fighter 6 especially. You need something that says it's actually kind of good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone, as part of marketing, has leaked this stuff.
Right?
Because if you're concerned about how a game is being received, and especially after the logo crap, if you're concerned about how a game is received, you sort of slide this stuff under someone's door and say, "Quick, just put that out into the world." That it settles people down. It gets people excited, and so far everything I've seen, really fucking good. Like stylistically, fucking smashed it. I love how it looks.
Yeah, no, I love the gameplay stuff and the designs of these lead characters. All of them look so good. All of them look amazing.
Yeah, there's always going to be a case of how it actually plays when you get your hands on a controller and start playing with characters. But that's we're never going to find. Well, we are going to find out. We're not going to find out for a little while. So don't worry about that. Let the face value of a game take over. And as a face value, it's really good. I'm very excited. I wasn't really before because obviously basically the logo. I've looked it up because I forgot what it looked like, and it just makes me mad looking at it again.
Right.
It just kind of sets it off on a bad start. So you do need, and again, it kind of makes me feel like it's done deliberately. You need a little kickstart to kind of get you going.
Right.
And I would be a little surprised if it wasn't deliberate to get this out there, get people thinking about the game, get people talking about it, sharing these images, saying, "Have you seen Akuma?"
Right.
God, that sort of stuff. You need those. You need that dialogue. You need that discussion with people because by the time they get around to actually putting this all out there officially, you got the inside track. You got the start you want. You can just ride the wave you've already created. So I'm happy. I'm excited. I'm a lot more excited than I was, which is what I would want a game to do to me, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because like these leaks came out and they're pretty massive, and Capcom has been going after nobody. So like I agree with you, like Rabbid, like
there's no follow up.
Yeah, you might be on the money there. It is all good because the thing is, this is all good publicity right now. People are loving the designs. People are loving the character list. People are loving the way the game looks. Public opinion of Street Fighter 6 right now is at maximum. So I'm like, So, considering that we only have a couple minutes left on the show, let's get a quick fire, like a rapid fire shout out about Summer's Game Fest, and then we're gonna end off for our last topic of the night. All right. So, because I forgot we didn't talk about the one massive thing. Yeah, exactly. So, Summer's Game Fest. What do you guys think? I'll start. What do you guys think we'll see there at the show? Hopefully, if Nintendo Direct's not happening, maybe some Nintendo games. I wouldn't put it past Jeff Keighley for like getting some Nintendo stuff. But at the same time, there was on the list. We have Atlas, Sega, PlayStation, Xbox on the list for Summer's Game Fest. So it could be some massive stuff. Hopefully, maybe we'll see some God of War. That's probably why it wasn't at the State of Play. And maybe some Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 stuff. I'll be down for that. But they got a lot of stuff, like really big shoes to fill. So far, the people who's gone first in terms of their announcements have been knocking it out of the park, despite, some feelings on like Sonic's gameplay or whatever. Like that's still massive. People are still talking about. So that's big. All right. So Rabbid, what do you think about any type of announcements or whatnot when it comes to Summer's Game Fest?
So the one thing, and I've looked through the giant list of people who are supposed to be there. The one thing, like draw a line under anything else. The one thing I want to see, and I don't know how realistic it is, but I know the game is happening. We have 2K on there right at the top. I want Bioshock 4.
Ooh,
that's all I want. Like you can have. That's my Christmas present. Just make that happen.
That would be good.
Anything
I
else,
like that.
I'm fine. But like that is. I don't even care about anything else. Like I've seen a few people on there, like Studio MDHR. That's fine. They'll talk about Cuphead. That's fine. You do that. I just want 5 minutes where they say, "Oh, by the way, Bioshock 4 is coming soon. Here's a little teaser," and I will wet myself on camera if I have to. Like I need this in my life because it's been Bioshock Infinite was coming up for 10 years ago.
Like more than 10 years ago. Yeah,
it's like 2013 or something. I mean, we're getting there. It's been a hell of a while, and there's other stuff which is more likely to show up. But that's the thing I need. That's my lifeblood because I love those games. I love them even when they're terrible and when they're stupid. Like I need it. Please, that's all I need.
Nice. That was definitely like Bioshock. I was like, oh man, I forgot about that. All right, so Ndukauba, what are you thinking for Summer's Game Fest?
Oh man, okay, so I'm looking at like the partner lineup right now with all the developers. I see WB there, so maybe Multiverses. I see Square
definitely.
Enix. see Square Enix. So and this is like obviously wishful thinking, but Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Like,
Yep.
Give us like a little bit of snippet, something. What else? We have. Okay, this is gonna be interesting, right? We have Bandai there, right? And we also have Xbox. So one of two things could happen. One, they could really disappoint us and give us Dragon Ball: The Breakers gameplay, which is I don't know what they're thinking.
Oh
with that
my
game. You guys know
god,
I'm a
I
huge
forgot about Dragon Ball: The Breakers, man.
Because there's nothing else they can really show us with that game. Honestly, you get to see Frieza and Cell. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, actually, boo. But anyway, yeah, they could go the bad route and show us Dragon Ball: The Breakers, or they can go the good route and show us the first actual next-gen Dragon Ball game, which is what every Dragon Ball fan in the gaming section of the community anyway is waiting for, myself included.
So the next gen, the next true next gen Dragon Ball game. You mean Xenoverse 3?
If it happens, I mean, actually, heck, with what they're doing with this next DLC, which by the way, Xenoverse 2 is at DLC 14.
That's insane.
They need to stop supporting that game. It's been 6 years. I think we're good. Oh my god. But yeah, so Xenoverse 2 DLC Pack 14 is coming with more story. So, and the way how that's going to play out, they can probably lead that into a Xenoverse 3, which would be pretty cool. Sega's going to be there, so I expect more Sonic gameplay. PlayStation's going to be there.
God of War.
What? Maybe God of War? Yeah, like God of War. They could probably actually no, because maybe Spider-Man. Like just a little bit of Spider-Man gameplay would be nice. Atlas is there, like unless they're pulling out Persona 6.
I doubt it. They have that concert happening in October, but they're probably gonna talk about that the demon trackers or whatever. What was it called? Soul trackers? They're probably gonna talk about that.
Soul hackers.
Soul hackers. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
But and there's other companies in here too. Like this is actually a pretty solid lineup. Like I would be surprised if we don't get like one super heavy hitting announcement from any of these companies, because at that point,
man. But I definitely agree. Like we got some really nasty like looking lineup when it comes to Summer's Game Fest. That's why I'm excited for this one too. And Jeff Keighley does what he's doing when it comes to hyping up the show. And from what we've seen so far, they definitely have their work cut out for them to like, oh man, this is gonna be massive as well. And then the Xbox show is happening on Sunday, so that's gonna be good. Now, the last case in point, we can take an extra 10 minutes about this, is that Final Fantasy 16. This is gonna be the final thing, the Final Fantasy, the final aspect of the fifth dimension this stream. That gameplay looks so bro. And when I've seen people complain about DMC gameplay, I'm like, listen, all right, a DMC style Final Fantasy game with RPG, all that good jazz, and the fact that we can utilize, we got this from the first trailer, we can utilize powers from the summons, and I keep calling them summons, but they have a name, like Celestials or some shit like that, or Astrals, right? They're Astrals, right? That's what they're called. They called them Astrals in Final Fantasy 15, whatever, summons. Anyways, able to utilize and swap between summon powers when he's able to use like Odin's powers and then Garuda and then Ifrit. I'm just like, this looks so. Oh god, that shit looks so good. And the story, and the fact that it's coming out summer 2023, 16. And the fact that Yoshi P's like heading this and Creative Business Division 3, their work from 14 has their fucking their track records precedes them. They are like, we're in good hands, ladies and gentlemen. I know a lot of people are like a little turned off the fact that we're going back to medieval times, because like Final Fantasy has been dealing with like modern day settings or modern day-esque settings for like the longest now, and now we're going back to like the times of Final Fantasy 1 through 6. But I feel it's gonna be really, really cool. Now I know that Ndukauba's fidgeting, so I'm gonna throw him over. It's like
biting my tongue.
All right, go for it.
I need everybody in chat to pay attention to what I'm about to say, right? Because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. Like, I kid you not, after the fifth dimension, I'm about to hop back with my static to help them get through P3S and Final Fantasy 14. Okay,
I need to play this game,
bro. Oh my goodness! But I need y'all to listen to me, right? The producer of the game is Yoshi P. We all know his track record. There's only been, and I kid you not, one time that man has not met a deadline, at least as far as I know, and that was for Endwalker. And we all saw he was devastated by it. So when that
man, I felt so bad for him, bro. Like, he was so sad. I'm like, don't be sad. What are you're like, this man, what he does for the community is like above and beyond. So like, when he was legitimately sad about it, I'm like, no, I'm gonna cry.
I felt that crap. Yeah, it's like, look, I feel you. So when that man said, hey, look, we need an extra year to polish, I know that man is going to use that extra year to polish. Take as much time as you need, right? That's Yoshi P. That's the GOAT, right? The combat director is Ryuta Suzuki, right?
Mm-hmm.
The combat director of Devil May Cry 5, Marvel 2, and Dragon's Dogma. So you know the combat's gonna be flames. And the music composer of the game is Soken. Bruh.
Yep.
This is an all-star lineup working on, like, actually the art director is the same one who made the art for Final Fantasy, I think 14 and 10?
Yeah.
Like, bruh, we have an all-star lineup
working
on this game.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, and I kid you not, and I've been saying this with my chest in servers, like, it streams, whatever case may be. With who is working on this game, if everything plays out perfectly, I will confidently say this game could be better than Final Fantasy VII. I fully and wholeheartedly believe that.
But I understand. I understand though. But ooh,
like it could be considered a hot take. But remember, people were also viewing that with Final Fantasy 15 when it was originally Final Fantasy 13 or versus 13. Sorry, but the thing is, this game is already done. Remember that. They're just taking the extra year to polish, but the game is done. So if that's the case, we know that there's more than likely not going to be a delay with the game. I mean, things could happen, right? But realistically speaking, there's more than likely not going to be a delay with the game. We know the music's going to be fire. We know the combat's going to be fire. We know the story's going to be a fire. We know the art's going to be fire. Like, what more could you want from Yoshi P, the freaking GOAT? You know what I'm saying? That game's going to be fire. And not only that, we got to see the freaking icons, bro. We saw Garuda. We saw Bahamut. We saw Odin. And we actually get to fight as them. Not fight them with yeah, we get to fight as them. Bruh, like, give me this game now. Bruh, oh my God. I can't wait for this game. I'm so glad we got that trailer.
Yo, Breath of the Wild 2 and this game coming out the same year. This is gonna be like, this is where the fun begins, boys. Now let's throw the ball over to Rabbid. How you feeling about Final Fantasy 16?
It's 2 a.m. here. I can't match that energy if I tried, I'll be honest. But it looks amazing. Honestly, it's like I love where Final Fantasy is right now, because you know there was some tricky years there when it wasn't 100% confidence behind what they were doing. But this is something else. This is like you're making a game from scratch, from the ground up, to be one thing for many people. It's got so much going for it, and I feel like there hasn't been like a nugget of bad news or a thing where like, oh, that's a bit shit. No, everything's good. Everything's done. Like you said, everything is heading in the right direction, and that is so fucking valuable for a game to be doing, especially for something like Final Fantasy, because like you know, Final Fantasy's done a lot in the last where are we, 2022? Like in the last 20 years or so, it's done a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot of different things. I love the idea, and this kind of goes back to the medieval setting, because you know. You can discuss the merits of modern Final Fantasy, but you know I don't want to call myself a purist, but I do like the medieval RPG. It's like it fires something in my brain, like, oh, it is good. It is good. So the idea that you're getting that game to the standard that they are showing off, and they've got another year to fucking make it perfect. Like, that's amazing to me. Like they're putting so much behind this, and still got more to show, and more to tweak, and more to refine. And that's honestly, I'm not sure about better than Final Fantasy VII, because you know that is a tough nut to crack. That is a cultural icon.
No, but I understand. But I definitely understand.
Well,
like,
I'm not going to say it can't. But I'm thinking, obviously, from what we've seen so far, it's a Game of the Year candidate for next year.
Oh yeah,
easy. Like, it's going to be hard for anything to stand up to it. But it's just a wonderful thing. Like, I can say that about a Final Fantasy game. There was parts of 15 that were a bit divisive among people, but you know, there may be parts of this that are divisive. But at the moment, it doesn't seem to be. And that's, you know, as a tentpole franchise in all of gaming, that's what you want to see. It's kind of what I was getting about Sonic. Like, these franchises have been going on for so long that you kind of need to be up to this standard by now.
Right.
Like, it's hard for me to say that, you know, Sonic hasn't had time to work it out. Final Fantasy's worked it out. It's had its good years. It's done some fucking weird shit. But it's come to this point in 2023 where it's just dripping in quality. So that's what it kind of needs to be. Video games are growing up. Video games have thousands of people working on them for many years. This is what it should look like at the end. So, yeah.
Actually, I think jumping off of that, it's actually really good that you said that too, because to build up more hype for Final Fantasy 16. Again, guys, remember, like I said earlier, Yoshi P is the producer of the game, right? Y'all got to remember what this man is capable of, because Final Fantasy 14, when it first launched, I'm not talking about A Realm Reborn, I'm talking about OG Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, yeah.
That game was a complete train wreck. It was bad. Like, you know what? I'm not even going to describe how bad it was. It was, oh my God, it was horrible. This man, Yoshi P, literally grabbed that game from the ashes and literally built it into an absolute mountain. Like, that man made the death of the OG game and incorporated that into the lore.
Yeah. I keep hearing about that. I'm like, bro, he did it.
This man is insane. And then he made banger after banger after banger, bro. Freaking what we had Stormblood, we had Heaven's Ward, we had Shadowbringers, and then recently we have Endwalker. We're currently on a new adventure. Like, bruh, this man knows what he's doing. That's why when it comes down to Final Fantasy 16, my standards are exponentially high, because I know for a fact the quality is going to be there. That's that boy. So yeah, bro, I'm excited.
Man, like, I could not put it into better words that Final Fantasy 16 looks like it's gonna be such like an immaculate game. That's why I'm like I'm like, at first I'm like Final Fantasy 7, I don't know, but like thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, like everything is looking right for this game, and the fact that it's going to be M shows that they can go into like vastly, like wildly different directions than previous games or Final Fantasy games that, before it. And with that being said, looking at the lineup for 2023, if everything goes right, you know, we got Final Fantasy 16, we got Street Fighter 6, we got Breath of the Wild 2, we got Starfield, we got Resident Evil 4 Remake, we got God of War Ragnarok. What else do we got? Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man.
Yo, so like Game of the Year next year is looking like it's gonna be a bloodbath, and I am all here for that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all so much for coming on out to this latest explosive episode of The Fifth Dimension, and I want to thank my boys Ndukauba and RabbidLuigi for being here on the show. Now let's start with RabbidLuigi. Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on my YouTube channel entitled Helpfully RabbidLuigi. I post sort of top 10 style videos. I've been doing like discussion type video essays recently. I try and post every week on Sunday, you know, about every type of gaming, really, not just, you know, Nintendo stuff or Final Fantasy. It's just anything I can get my hands on. So love to see you there.
All right, awesome. Yeah, and thank you so much for being here. And of course, Ndukauba, let them know where they can find you.
All right, so what's poppin', people? Again, my name is Ndukauba. You guys can find me on YouTube at Ndukauba. You can find me on Twitch at Ndukauba, Twitter at NdukaubaYT. I post primarily Dragon Ball content, some Nintendo content as well. Don't forget that when Kingdom Hearts 4 drops, I'll be streaming that. When the mobile game comes out as well, I'll potentially be covering that. And Final Fantasy 16, I will not be covering that because I'll be in the Shadow Realm, okay? I'm not talking to nobody. I'm only playing that game. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I'm barely breathing. Yes.
I definitely understand. And of course, I am your host, HMK of The Fifth Dimension. You can find me on all assets and all facets when it comes to HM Killer, when it comes to Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and of course here on Twitch. And until the next episode of The Fifth Dimension, we have an awesome week ahead of us. Let's hope that we don't have to wait too long for a Nintendo Direct. So until then, this has been HMK. Don't forget to dive deep, be brave, and enter The Fifth Dimension.